Intro. What happens when legends like Tyson, Fury, Usyk, and top trainers all warn the world about a 20-year-old heavyweight? Meet Moses Itauma, the young beast already striking fear into champions.
My name is Itauma. Moses Itauma. I think he's a great fighter. The young, 20 years, yeah?
And that's why you got to watch it and find out. But one thing I will say about Moses is he's a very good fighter, good little boxer, good puncher, and a lovely kid as well. It's like a sponge.
Why are you taking this fight? Because this kid is on fire right now. And he's getting better and better. It's not like he's going backwards, he's going forward.
Fighters describe how frightening Moses Itauma appears inside the ring. Tyson Fury praised the 20-year-old for his power, concentration, and discipline. He pointed out that Moses listens carefully, learns quickly, and delivers punches with serious force. Taking on someone like Dillian Whyte at such a young age shows his confidence and ability. Many believe Moses isn't just talented, but truly dangerous, already gaining the respect of top heavyweights in boxing.
That's a good fight, actually, especially for Moses. I think it's a very good time to fight Dillian. He's had a couple of years out the ring. But, make no mistakes, Dillian Whyte is a massive puncher. It's a head and body. I know he's taking it very serious. I'm speaking to Ty Mitchell, who's in training camp with him. And looking forward to the fight. It's a big step up for Moses because he hasn't really fought anybody on Dillian's level. The old Dillian, it was a couple of years ago. And it's going to be interesting to see how much that Dillian Whyte has left. And could this be potential? I think it does have the potential to do what Martin McCauley did to Jared Anderson. Maybe it's too early, or maybe he passes with flying colours, and that's why you got to watch it and find out. But one thing I will say about Moses is he's a very good fighter, good little boxer, good puncher, and a lovely kid as well. It's like a sponge. You tell him something, he absorbs it and he listens, and that's the great thing about the young kids who's coming up. And he's only 20 years old. I told him a few years ago, forget about breaking records, take your time, you've only got one career, and just enjoy it, because I remember when I was 19, 20, and now 36 has gone like that. Very quick.
Alexander Usyk, considered one of the smartest boxers of this era, openly expresses respect for Moses Itauma. In a recent chat, Usyk called Moses a strong young fighter and highlighted his maturity and toughness in the ring. Coming from Usyk, who has faced and beaten world champions, this praise carries weight. The fact that Moses has impressed a boxer of Usyk's stature at only 20 years old proves he is far from ordinary. Usyk's words not only reflect Moses' raw power, but also his calmness and work ethic far beyond his years.
My name is Itauma. Moses Itauma. I think he's a great fighter. The young, 20 years, yeah?
20.
Yeah, 20 years. I think Itauma have big future.
Moses Itauma's trainer revealed a unique side of the rising heavyweight, his love for boxing's past. Like Mike Tyson once did, Moses studies the legends who came before him. He doesn't just watch fights. He reads about their struggles, their styles, and the way they built greatness. This mindset separates him from most young boxers who only care about current rivals. His hunger to learn the history shows how serious he is about becoming complete. That desire to grow both mentally and physically gives him depth uncommon for a 20-year-old fighter.
I think probably the biggest comparison I would say is how Mike Tyson loved the game, would always study fighters of the past, etc. Moses has that same love for it.
Does he?
Yeah, like we'll send him his sparring at 2 a.m. He'll be texting us clips like, is this more what you want?
He's a student.
Yeah, he absolutely loves it. And that's that, along with his maturity at his age.
Very composed, isn't he? Very composed. Yeah.
That is what is allowing him to achieve what he's achieving at such a young age.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of talented fighters out there, but not many that
can execute it on the back of it, yeah.
It's no shock that people are already comparing Moses Itauma to a young Mike Tyson. With his aggressive approach, heavy short punches, and composed attitude, many predict Moses could become a world champion before turning 21. Such an achievement would be extremely rare at this age. His strength, speed, and fearlessness remind fans of Tyson's early years, when he destroyed opponents quickly. Even though comparisons bring huge pressure, Moses appears calm, focused, and determined to prove himself through action rather than hype.
is Moses Itauma being babied? Jared Anderson had better opposition in his first 12 fights than Moses Itauma. Guaranteed without a doubt. Guaranteed without a doubt. He had better opposition. But Jared gets criticized. And, you know, here we have a guy like Moses being called potentially the next Mike Tyson. They believe he can win a world title under 21 years old.
Moses Itauma didn't rise to this level overnight. From just 18 years old, people noticed how skilled and polished he already was. With hundreds of amateur bouts behind him, he gained experience that made him calm and smart inside the ring. His movement, defense, and accurate combinations showed he was ready for the professional stage long before turning pro. That early dedication gave him a strong base, and it's the reason his current climb looks effortless. While others need years to adjust, Moses entered the scene looking like he belonged.
So young, to be as athletic as he is, look as polished as he is. Bear in mind, I interviewed Moses Itauma before his pro debut, and one of the questions I really wanted to ask him was how many amateur fights he'd had. For someone who looked so polished and was turning pro so young, bear in mind he'd only just turned 18 at the time. Right, this is 2 years ago, nearly 3 years ago now. I really wanted to know how many amateur fights he had to look as polished as he did. And in that interview, he told me it was something like 22, 23 amateur fights, which is really, it's quite a low amount. It was a bit of a kind of land when he said it. I remember at the time thinking, huh? And then obviously you're interviewing, so you want to try and get the next question. You don't want to be just stopped in your tracks. But it genuinely nearly did stop me in my tracks, given how polished he looked and how good he looked. You know, I was thinking, yikes, that's actually a bit of a strange one for someone to look that polished in such short of a time. And he's obviously been fighting good amateurs, and obviously he's not one of these amateurs like Anthony Yard, no offense, who had 10 amateur fight against low level, probably wasn't doing a great deal of sparring, but just had that natural ability. All right, just had it.
Veteran heavyweight Derek Chisora questioned why Dillian Whyte would accept a fight with Moses Itauma. He noted that while Dillian hasn't been active, Moses has kept improving with every training camp. At only 20, Moses is sharpening his craft daily. Although young, his power, style, and hunger give him a dangerous edge. Chisora's worry wasn't only about Dillian's fitness, but about how much of a threat Moses has quietly become. When veterans sound cautious, it shows how real the danger is.
I had a phone call a couple of weeks ago. They offered me to fight Moses Itauma in Saudi. You know, I said, how much? He said, 2 million. I said, nah, I'm out. I even phoned Dillian. I was like, Dillian, I don't know why you're taking this fight, you know, because this kid is on fire right now. And he's getting better and better. It's not like he's going backwards, he's going forward.
One of the reasons he is taking it is that Moses is WBO #1 at the moment, so that there's some kind of light at the end of the tunnel for Dillian taking that fight.
Ain't no light at the end of that tunnel.
I agree with you. I think I don't think Dillian gets beyond 4 or 5 rounds.
You're crazy. Yeah. There's no light at that tunnel. That kid is, no, you mad. No way. Even Lawrence Okoli said Moses is bad.
As talk grows about a clash between Moses Itauma and Dillian Whyte, the boxing world is split. Some argue Moses is a top young heavyweight today, while others think facing Dillian so soon may be too much. Dillian has battled world-class names and owns experience Moses lacks. Still, Moses brings youth, speed, and sharp technique. This fight is seen as a huge test for both. For Dillian, it's a chance to silence the hype. For Moses, it's a moment to prove he can stand among the elite.
Can he still use them? It's a common opinion that Moses is a great prospect. He's got all the talent in the world, but as a professional, he's untested. I think Dillian sees this as a perfect opportunity to shut the hype train on Itauma, beat this young prospect who everyone's shouting about and get the light back on him. But the problem is, if he loses, he's got nowhere to go. It's game over. But this is boxing, high risk, high reward, or scrambling at the bottom of the heap. We know that Moses wanted to beat Mike Tyson's record in becoming the youngest heavyweight champion of the world, but he's missed that now. So we know he wants to move fast and test himself. He's reaching for greatness, but as the saying goes, you can't put an old head on young shoulders. So maybe he's biting off more than he can chew. From his point of view, beating a veteran like Dillian Whyte will give him credibility. You know, put him in the mix with the top guys. I'm definitely a fan of Moses. He's got the skill, the talent, the work ethic, and the mindset. The only thing he lacks is experience. And I suppose the only way to get it is to fight these guys. In the fight business, you've got to have thick skin because there's always going to be doubters. It's part of the game. Personally, I don't see the rush. There's so many good fights, even at domestic level. He's only 20. I just feel he's got time on his side. He needs time to mature. Heavyweights don't mature till late 20s. I just see so much value going the traditional route. English, British, Commonwealth, European, then world honours. In my opinion, it's so important. That's your apprenticeship. Gradually learning the game, gaining experience, and each time you pass the test, you step up. This type of progression builds the foundations. There's a reason why the greats